Hey, I'm Dave. Welcome to Shop Talk. Tonight in Shop Talk, we're going to start off by talking about one of the most embarrassing bugs that I ever shipped in Windows that made it into production. Because that's the best probably of the questions that I saw on the list, but a lot of them look compelling and interesting, so stick around as we're joined by my co-host Glenn. How you doing, Glenn?
I'm doing well, Dave. Doing well.
Well, let's jump right on into the questions.
Yeah, let's go. So that first one comes from Outlier Forever. It says, question for you, Dave. Did you ever have a programming oops while working at Microsoft that made it into the wild, the approved software release? And then he goes on, did you or your peers keep track of oops moments and engage in, quote, good-natured ribbing?
Right. Yeah, I did have one that I probably had many, but there's one I know of that was kind of embarrassing that made it in. I did the port of Windows Pinball, taking the original Windows 95 game, rewriting chunks of the assembly in C so we could run it on RISC, and just making the game work on NT. Importing it, I wrote an engine around their game engine in order to manage the video drawing and sound and so forth. So I made my own kind of game engine around their logic engine, if that makes sense. My game engine had a bug in that it would just draw frames as fast as it could. And I was on a MIPS R4000 at 200 megahertz, I believe. And if I was having a good day, it would run 60 to 90 frames per second. And I figured that's plenty for a game like that. Keeps it nice and responsive and stuff. And fast forward a couple of years later, somebody notices that on multi-core machines, it's using an entire core of the machine to play pinball at all times whenever you run pinball, which on the one hand wouldn't matter too much because presumably you're playing pinball, but maybe you're doing compiles in the background. So there's no reason to bogart an entire CPU from the system. And what it was still drawing as fast as it could, but it was now drawing at like 5,000 frames a second because machines were much, much faster than they used to be. So I believe it was Raymond Chen. He talked about this one in our interview with him. Which is something you should check out on the Dave's Garage channel. If you've never seen the Raymond Chen interview, it's really good. Not my role in it. I mean, just Raymond is a very engaging guest, so it's a good one. The other parts of that question was, no, if you had a bug that actually made it into the product and required work in a service pack, that was never a laughing matter. That was kind of a shameful thing, right? So you would never like, haha, your bug corrupted data or something. But if you did something daily, like you broke the build, yeah, then people were merciless. Or if you checked in something boneheaded. I remember Dave C. sent a check-in mail to fix a bug that somebody had checked in code that he wrote, clearly while drunk. I thought was a good one.
Yikes, yeah. So hold on, Dave, the person who wrote the bug was drunk. Not yes. Dave Cutler sending
Dave
the email.
C's fix was accompanied by a comment that the original author was likely drunk when he wrote the code.
Oh, man. Yeah, so good-natured ribbing, that would be on some funny thing maybe that didn't make it in the code. But if you're busting stuff, it was anything but good-natured. It was sort of...
Yeah, it was all fun and games until you shipped it, and then it was really serious. Or even, shipped the beta, then you didn't want to look like an idiot. So.
Yeah. Okay, so we had... you got a good list of questions here. We had... a Dave's Garage episode there, then this 128 gigabyte the AI PC, the mini PC showdown. Right. I think I stole a couple of questions off of that one just before our last Dave's Attic episode, but I'm going to start off with the same one again. You've answered them, but again, Charlie Martirelli says, okay, do we have to tune into Shop Talk to see which one you chose? What a cliffhanger. I hope on Shop Talk you talk about going from a Threadripper to a mini PC. Love to hear your take. So which one did you choose again, Dave?
Well, I thought I kind of made it obvious without saying it because I didn't want to say it outright, but I wound up with the HP Mini PC. Now, these are all loaners that have to go back at some point, so I'm not paying for the HP Mini PC, which can be really pricey, but it's a very nice machine. It's the HP G2, I believe, Mini PC. And I found that in multi-core, in single core, it's way faster than my 3970 Threadripper. And in multi-core, it was just a little bit faster. So there was no downside other than I can't stuff my 4080 into it. So the 4080 is kind of sitting idle right now, but it's got a pretty decent GPU in it for what I use Windows for anyway. So,
okay.
So yeah, HP was my answer.
There you go. Yep. And Ardgal Elkadis, he's a bit of a, this is a harder take here for you. Yeah, he says, how are we supposed to take this guy seriously when he parrots some weird marketing points about setting up a striped RAID of M2 NVMe drives for maximum sequential performance, or quoting numbers a single drive can normally achieve on the PCIe 4.0 with 4 M2 slots, blah, 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 blah. He says, and they're all basically the same. Their claim was that about a 4060 mobile tier GPU is enabling desktop-like graphics. You absolutely should not be using RAID on NVMe drives for basically any purpose. And he goes on and on and on. So
Okay,
what's
well,
your...
let me stop
Explain
you right
yourself,
there.
Dave. Explain yourself.
Well, sir, I run TrueNAS, and my TrueNAS has a layer of about 6 NVMe SSDs in front of the hard drive. So saying, and they're in RAID, some of them. So the cache tier is a RAID array of multiple NVMe SSDs. One can fail. So saying you should never use NVMe in RAID is, no, it's not a defensible position. So I'm not going to entertain the rest of it.
Excellent. Okay, Hyperspace 32. What is the Ryzen AI 395 Plus Pro Max actually good for? Is it meant for things like running your own private chat GPT or similar AI tools?
Well, the reason I decided to go with it are a couple things. One, you can set aside a lot, up to 96 gigabytes of video RAM for your AI and video projects. So it's great for that. And the single core performance on it is smoking fast, and it's got 16 of those cores. So it's a very fast chip. Now, is it as fast as a 9950 3D Max Turbo Plus or whatever the top of the line chip is? No, it's not. It's going to be one notch down from that. But for being like the second or third fastest category of CPU that you can get, plus having an integrated GPU, if you don't want a box with a full GPU, I think it's probably your best solution yet today.
Okay. A couple of sort of general Microsoft and OS criticisms. R. Graham, NCal, probably North Cal. Dave says, probably not the right place to ask, but then he asks anyway. How can we get MS Photos to stop enhancing our photos? So my photos on my Canon R5 are exposed just the way I want them, and I get to see a picture for about 1 second before the stinking app improves it. And his interpretation of it is ruins it. He says the MS forums and support tell you to use legacy version of photos, but that's not correct.
Well, maybe the older versions don't do that, and that's what they're suggesting, but I don't know the answer to this one. And it's a kind of a problem, and it's a gap in my knowledge because I don't use Windows for content creation or consumption. I use it for productivity and programming. My day-to-day use is now on a Mac, so my photos are on a Mac because I've got an iPhone, so it syncs. So all my photos are on the Mac side and not on the Windows side. And so I'm not very up to speed on how that whole workflow works on Windows. So I'm afraid I can't give you a good answer on that one.
Yeah, it looks like he's using Lightroom. So if he wants to look at him off the Express card before he does that. Gabriel Petier, so following on a similar sort of more technical aspect, he says, but again about those AI PCs, says, but they can't run, and then he's got what? QN3-coder-40B-A35B instruction, right?
Well, yeah, but not with the C. The B it can, the C no.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no way that fits even at the total RAM. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how big that model is, so I can't tell you, but it's not going to be able to run, the 405 billion parameter models.
And then he goes on at the end, he says, thanks for the report. I'd bet you'd pick the framework despite your disappointment with the plastic door. So, wrong. Yeah.
It's a nice machine. It's one of my other favorites, let's say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the customizable part wasn't sort of appealing to you on that. Not to you, but I can see how it would be for a lot of others.
It's kind of a neat touch. I wouldn't buy it for that, but it's one of those things that if you're going to buy it, it's a nice touch.
Yeah.
I did not care for the plastic side panel. I would have preferred perforated steel or maybe something a little more rigid and better fitting than the plastic panel. Yeah. Because the rest of the case is steel. I don't know if I was clear about that, but it's just a side panel.
Yeah,
just the side panel was plastic.
Okay. David Holder says, hey, Dave, are these PCs powerful enough to run your favorite Windows 10 in a virtual PC, thus having Windows 11 virus protection?
Yes.
There you go.
If that's something you want to do, they're certainly powerful enough to do that.
Okay. And then Safir Otsama says, what are exactly all these security features on the HP? Isn't that pure BS? They have access to data.
It's corporate stuff. Like it allows them to go in and integrate with Active Directory and the security settings and models that they present at the where the big nerds fix your computers for you at work. IT. It's really to cater to the IT folks because it allows a lot of stuff to be automated, and it has other features too. Like I believe it encrypts memory it's certainly per system and possibly per process. But it's certainly persistent. So if you're running multiple VMs on a machine, even if one escaped, it would see other memory and it would see it as totally encrypted and have no access to it, even if it escaped its own VM.
So that's more of a business or corporate sort of.
Well, that's a feature I'd kind of like to have, but most of the features are intended at business. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's the
pro part, I guess.
Yeah, which is kind of their major market, I guess.
I would think so, yeah.
Chris Brisson, how can you feed that vast, fast RAM with a mere PCIe 4 SSD? So your workload demands a 128 gigabyte AI PC. Said, for God's sake, man, give it a PCIe 5 SSD.
Yeah, that would be better. But even, I don't know, would it actually, it probably would load models faster on a PCI 5 SSD. Yeah. I agree.
There we go. No argument from you on that.
Because they're big.
Yeah, they're bigger.
They're mighty big.
Dirty Dog Ranch, Texas. What kind of spyware is built into those AI chips?
Oh, the good kind. Only the good kind.
Only the good kind.
They only report the information that you should have been reporting about yourself anyway.
Okay. And one of your friends from Microsoft here, D. Sebeski, says, what do you know about STP? Not the motor oil, our STP.
Spanning Tree Protocol. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
So in a network system, if you've got a switch here and a switch here, imagine you ran a cable down to this port, and you went from this port back up to that port. Well, that's a trivial example of a network loop. And so STP is a spanning tree protocol algorithm that goes through and walks to find out if there are loops in your network. For reasons I won't rat hole into here, I had to switch from STP to RSTP, but I don't really know what the actual difference in the algorithms is, but it was helpful in solving one of the issues I was encountering with my networking. So.
Oh, okay. And is that something you switched in the last few days then, or?
About a week ago, I think,
okay.
Yeah.
Is that why Dave's asking the question? Because he knew you had to do that?
He's got the same system, and he had the same issue. He had it detected network loops in his, and I guess he talked to Unify, and they're like, switch to RSTP, and it should fix it, and it did. So,
I like the way Dave just slides that in there. That was pretty nice. Yeah. Ruben Garcia. Sorry. Yeah, this is actually a couple guys pointed out. So there was a little typo in that. I think you had said that the 11-minute, 28-second mark. HP, it says 87,318, but it's written as 83,718. So,
yeah, I saw that comment and I corrected it, and I said which number is right. And I can't go from memory now to tell you whether it was 73 or 37. But yeah, in the comment there and in I think the description, I've corrected that.
Okay, great. Mutta82, do you think you'll wind up checking out the new B-Link GTR 9 Pro?
Maybe. Don't know what that is yet. Yeah. Send me two. I break things a lot.
What do we got here? So some user experience kind of stuff here. Gaz Cool. So where's the AI? Where are the AI benchmarks, like the LLM versus NVIDIA card, and like Flux Dev image generations, maybe speed at training? Loris, what says that's what you buy these things for? So
yeah, that's why I gave you tokens per second, because I figured that was ultimately what you're going to use it for, is to run LLMs, and lots of other factors can be benchmarked about it. But what it comes down to is on the identical model on otherwise identical machines, turned out they were all at like 10 tokens per second for that particular model. So all I could really do was compare all of those machines as being roughly equal to other machines. And I compared it to the RTX 6000, I think. So. Okay.
James Sauter. Says this is the best comparison of the three boxes that he's seen. He noticed a couple things here. And then he says, is the small PSU an issue for any of those boxes? Do you find that you exceed the power available because of the USB 4 ports and the PCIe slots?
I never did, but then I didn't try to charge my laptop off of a USB-C port while it was doing, Cinebench R23 and running FurMark. That might, push the limits. But I don't even know if any of those ones have high output charging ports on them, because they wouldn't have the brick to support it, really. Maybe the framework, because it's got an internal power supply. But
okay. So now we're going to move off that the mini PC showdown into the Windows update. Well, actually, it's our last Shop Talk episode, but the start of it was this Windows update. So there's a lot of stuff that's gone on about that, and I think some new or non-information that's come out since then. That's kind of okay. We'll start with KB5063878.
Oh, I know it well.
Andreas Eriksson says, who to blame here? Lazy programmers, bad quality testing, or has Windows become too complicated to maintain?
Well, sir, why don't I answer that question with another question? No.
Yes.
I don't know that this is a real issue, and I think we'll get to that more later, but this would be hard to catch because it requires 50 gigabytes or terabytes of sequential writing to the disk and some other set of circumstances, which they haven't been able to replicate. So Don't know. So the KB at this point is kind of dubious. You know what I was going to mention is that between me and Raymond Chen, we know every knowledge base article by heart.
That's right.
You just pick a 6-digit number and ask.
Yeah.
You want to try?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm
next
supposed
episode.
to.
Tune in next week.
6 digits is a lot. Like, that's all you're
Well,
putting
they're
me
only
on
up
the
to
spot.
500,000 some, so it has to be the under 5 in the first digit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, yeah. So what about 173498?
Oh, that's one Raymond knows.
Oh, damn. Shit. I should have remembered that from when we interviewed him. Yeah. Karthi Kian. So I tried dual booting on Windows 11 system and got NVMe errors. Seems the OS isn't able to load that properly. Is this the issue?
No, that should be unrelated unless you just had done a bunch of massive disk I/O, rebooted, and then found that it couldn't read your disk anymore. That would be what would match up with the symptoms, but that doesn't sound like that. So,
Tech Kev says he loves these chats. It brings out these things about the most used OS from your former employer. His question is, has the command line been superseded by the shell? And if so or otherwise, how does he learn how to use the shell? It appears to be a different language altogether.
maybe he's talking about PowerShell.
Maybe, yeah.
So I'm going to assume you mean PowerShell. And yes, because all new development has to happen in PowerShell because they really can't change cmd.exe very much at this point. Like if you want to blow your mind, type in // question mark. In other words, get the help for the for command. And take a look at Set. Set is even worse. It goes on for like 10 pages because there was no way to add commands. Because let's say you add a command called banana to the DOS shell. Well, what if you had a script called banana? It used to run your banana script, but now it runs my built-in banana command. And it's not as simple as which order do you pick to process them in. And so they've added functionality to existing commands so that set is so overloaded it does like 8 different things. But PowerShell is a bit better structured and expandable and so on. So future development is going in PowerShell, and I don't know jack about PowerShell. I paste things in there from the web, and I know they're really verbose and complicated with lots of slashes and arguments and stuff like that. And they usually work and fix my problem if it's the right thing, but I could not sit down and write a PowerShell script for you.
What's that AI-driven model that you did an episode on a couple of months ago?
Oh, Warp. It's cool.
Yeah, Warp. Yeah, that would help a lot with PowerShell, right?
Yeah, you could say, write me. Yes. And you could probably, I've never used it on Windows with PowerShell. I've used it with CMD, but I'm pretty sure it does support it.
Yeah.
So you should be able to pardon me, I'm having a stroke already today. You should even be able to say, write me a PowerShell script that does X, and a Warp should be able to kick that out, if it's reasonably not huge.
Technician. Oh, yeah. I bet he's Armenian. Technician. Whatever happened to that Windows 7 feature that made Windows a static thing? Once the machine was rebooted, it would revert back to what it was. You could make offline changes that would then stay in the static image. But all the viruses would just go away, just disappear, gone. No changes could stay there. He says he likens it to like a kiosk version of Windows. After a reboot, it would return to its kiosk state.
That I am not aware of. I have seen, you still have in the system restore, so you can set a checkpoint and roll back to that.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware, but it sounds like a cool feature. You should probably patent it if nobody's done it yet, which is to automatically roll back to the last good state, right?
So there's no system restore in there right now, is there?
Yeah, there is.
There still is.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I think we were using that. As a sort of workaround when we were hitting the BitLocker thing all the time. I think for a while, and then after we tried it a few times, like, yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Right.
At work. That's my. Nick Stinger says, is this SSD problem the reason BitLocker metadata on my disks got corrupted?
It's possible, but unlikely. Okay. The manifestations I've seen have been basically the drive goes away.
Mega Mac.
Or I should say the manifestations that I've seen reported. Because Microsoft has been unable, working with Phison and the other several of the SSD manufacturers, they've been basically unable to replicate it. And then when you look into it, it's like, well, there weren't that many reports. Well, how many were there? Well, there was one report from Japan. And then I started to wonder, well, what are we looking at here? And then I saw allegations, which I'm not supporting, but that somebody was trying to depress Phison's stock price by leaking this as a rumor. And no, that sounds more like a conspiracy theory to me, but you've got to keep it in mind as a possibility. So I don't really know at this point. I would still roll back this update until we know better, because I think it's the risk of running without this particular update doesn't seem that immense.
Yeah, and I mean, I just recently saw an article stating the same thing. This sort of one episode in Japan, but I mean, just going through the comments from the feedback on that episode we did. There was at least a half dozen people in there who said, "Oh yeah, I lost my stuff, and I lost mine, and I lost mine." Now again, those are coincidental, not necessarily causal, and
we had a example at my old company that I had after Microsoft where a lady bought our software and she called in and she was pissed because her thermostat in her house had stopped working like immediately when she installed my software on her computer. And, that eventually got escalated to me. And I'm trying to reason with the lady and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry about your thermostat. I think at that point I'm like, hey, I'll split the service call with you if you want or something, but it's got absolutely nothing to do with our software. So she didn't believe me. But
you haven't been able to implement that software yet, though, have you?
ThermosMaster? Oh, yeah. The early betas used to wreck people's thermostats.
The early betas. It's fun. Dr. No, is this crap even fixed yet? Didn't know there's something to fix. We're not sure.
Well, we're not sure yet, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few around there, but I think some of them are still... XJ talks, is there an open VMS ISO available for the virtual machine?
There is, but the one I downloaded was for the VAX. So I can't tell you what platforms it's open VMS is available for. I did, however, get through the installation and then need a key. I know it's ironic that I got burned by their product activation, but I didn't have a key, so I couldn't finish installing it. Could I have Googled the key? Probably. Did I? No.
Yeah. Paul Rear, he says, does recording this still make you nervous?
Yeah, that's why I'm drunk through most of it. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard.
This is the beginning.
Yeah. And I mean, not only that. I mean, you're still connected with a whole bunch of folks in the Microsoft Old Timers group and a bunch of So it's
well, my biggest fear is that I will say something completely backwards or wrong or look uninformed or make some statement that turns out not to be true because people are pretty merciless. So I try to be as accurate as I can or say I don't know when I don't know, but.
Yeah, Kerry Holzman jumped onto this. He said, why is no one able to demonstrate this in a video? It appears to be a scam story, which...
I don't know. Again, I saw an episode of Jay's Tech Tips, that guy where he reproduced during a long gaming session some kind of scenario where his SSD fell off. But why would running whatever karting game he's running cause a massive amount of disk I/O? So is it really the same bug? Was it related? But he seemed to be able to do it more than once. So,
and were SSDs not failing on big data transfers prior to this update, or is it?
Well, that's the thing. How many
people?
You
associate it with that because now it's a thing, apparently.
Yeah, if I went into my drawer, pulled out all my SSDs, and tried to write 50 terabytes to them, I bet you one of them might fail. You never know. So
yeah. S.J. Brockhurst is worried about your health. He says, are you on the cusp of a stroke? Your speech doesn't sound right to me. Get a checkup. Well, you said you were stroking
you don't
out
know
already.
Me.
Have another beer, Dave.
Yep. No, I'm not having a stroke. As far as I know. I smell burnt hair and taste copper, but otherwise I feel fine.
Oh, isn't burnt toast? What did you say, burnt hair?
Yeah.
It's burnt toast.
No, I've heard that
toast.
too, but
okay. That's one of those Canada vignettes, isn't it? Some guy who pioneered some kind of brain surgery and
No, I haven't seen that one.
Isn't that one? Yeah, and he's like poking the needle in her, and you say, I smell burnt toast. And that was where they were able to isolate the part of the brain. I thought it was one of those Canadian.
The burnt toast thalamus. Yes, I remember that. No, I've never seen it. They must have made that one after I left.
Yeah, it was just before the burnt hair thalamus one came out. So yeah,
I see.
That was right around. You missed that one. Queen Maria. Oh yeah, no, we're not going to that one. She's again, no issues here. What percent of machines are impacted exactly? Neil Bradley says your video looks kind of weird. Is this AI generated? It's a little low frame rate and floaty.
No, it could be the editor's output settings. I notice his output files are kind of a lot smaller than mine. And I've asked him about it and what kind of post-processing he does, because he'll do a 45-minute episode and it'll be 3 gigabytes. Whereas I do a 20-minute episode and it'll be 5 gigabytes. So I'm not sure. And mine do seem higher quality. So appreciate the feedback. I'll see if I can get him to spice it up.
What's floaty?
But no,
mean?
it's not AI, to be fair.
Yeah.
I am not a robot.
It wouldn't be this bad if it was AI. No.
We'd be way better looking and
a little bit funnier. Mm-hmm. So then Jody Vesser pops up from Saskatchewan and says, I love the vaudeville act between the two of you. But really, who's funnier, U of R or U of S alumni?
I only know, you're the only U of S graduate I know. There's probably other people I do know.
Therefore, I'm the funniest one that you know.
You are. You're the funniest U of S grad I know.
I know a few U of R grads, and yeah, you're the funniest one. So yeah, I think I answered this, and I deferred to the U of R folks because that is the hometown. So
true.
I kind of escaped town, so I can't take too much credit for that. And what's that if the women can't find you? No. Oh, if you can't be funny, at least be funny looking or something. No.
Okay.
So, that's my own variation on red green. Lone Wolf. There's that single person in Japan again. Mike Griffiths. And there's a couple things like this too. He says, I'm a bit confused. Back up all of your data immediately, you say. Well, isn't that
Don't do a lot of this guy, yo. Sorry, is that what he's saying?
No, he says, isn't that exactly the type of large data transfer that causes the drives to disappear or
that's
lock
what I'm
up?
saying. That sounds like I saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Yes, and I thought of that when I was writing the episode, and I was like, do I have to be pedantic and explain that because if you're writing to an external drive, that's like a hard drive, a big spindle drive, you're fine. As far as I know, it doesn't affect like SATA SSDs or SATA drives. So,
and another earlier question in there too that I passed was someone said, why would we back this up to the cloud? Because aren't they using the same system? Aren't they susceptible to the same issues? But
yeah, but odds are when your file of 50 gigabytes goes up to the cloud, it's not going on one drive. It's probably being sharded and sprayed across 50 drives or something. So sharded.
I was at first I was going to say shard as in like the building in London, the SHARD.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh no, I think he meant the one with the T, so I'm just gonna move past.
No, I wouldn't say that on my show. This is a family show.
Yeah, and you've been to London, so you've seen is that what it's called, the shard?
Isn't that in Dubai?
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Okay, whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where the shard is.
I barely made it out of Saskatchewan to British Columbia, so who am I to talk? Yeah. Yeah, I can't even spell England. Goat shaver. So this is where someone gets, actually, there's a few people here that got into issues about, installing it and what if they can't seem to uninstall the update and a few things like that. But he says, what if the update is installed but not available to uninstall?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen it where you can't uninstall it. So I don't know what to do in the situation where that happens. I've never been in that situation.
And why would it not uninstall? That seems like
unless there was something else, some dependency on it that needed that update to work. But that's the only scenario I can think of is where you have a dependency, but you don't usually see that. So
yeah. Vulcan on Wheels says, are you going to let us know when it's safe to activate Windows Update again?
Yes, probably. I'm sure we will on the show.
Yeah. And I think we talked, I think earlier and sort of said too, that it's, still that idea of backing it out, pausing your updates that you said in that video is probably still not a bad strategy for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, you should be backing up anyway, but now you should really be backing up.
Yeah. Claude Arian says, all these recommendations sound so technobabble. How does a lay person circumvent this patch nightmare?
Probably your easiest thing to do is to go into Windows Update and look for the KB in there with the exact same number that you see in the video description and uninstall that one. That's all you need to know. Yeah.
And that's what I did. In fact, I did it today. I thought, I should do this. And it was actually pretty straightforward.
Pretty easy.
For me. Yeah, it was pretty easy. I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult. It sounds like a lot of technical stuff, but it's really pretty straightforward. System updates uninstall. So there's so Larry Leach, then he goes in, he says he attempted to uninstall the update, it failed and actually gave him an error. I don't know if 0x800F0825. So he's got an error message on that one, but any way to find out what that means or no?
I would Google that one.
Okay, there you go.
I can Google it for you, but I'd be slow.
Black Shogun, his experience.
Not to be unsympathetic. I mean, that's the only way to solve that one is to Google the KB and the air number and hope you get a hit.
Yeah. Would be interesting to find out what that is. Black Shogun says he fought it, removed it, forgot to pause updates. It came back, removed it again, and paused updates. How long should the pause be?
Once every day. Yeah. Install it, unremove it, there. Unremove it. No, remove it. Yes.
Well, I think the maximum you can pause, and I did that too, was five weeks. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know I thought it was 1 week. I didn't think you could go 5 weeks.
No, there's a drop down, so you can go 1 week, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I picked 5. Yeah, which is another question that comes up, and I'll answer that one too. Does anyone know if Microsoft has a fix? Can you tell? Yeah, Team Red Studio. I really wonder how a security update and what large files do differently to make an SSD break apart. What kind of magic is going on here?
I don't know, but you can imagine maybe there's a section of the disk reserved for some purpose that is delay written to, like, let me make up an example. Let's say there are metrics that the disk stores about how many bytes it's written or what the temperature was over time or something like that. And it has a queue of stuff it's got to write to that, but you've kept the drive so busy writing data that it's unable to write that metadata out to the special area of the disk. It overflows some buffer that would have happened if you weren't writing 50 gigabytes and the thing torques itself. I'm making that up, but that is an example of the type of bug that could cause this type of thing.
Okay. Sonar Frequency or Sonar Freak says it might be a stupid question, but can this affect the SSD that your operating system's sitting on?
Oh, yeah.
So yep. Okay.
Absolutely. That's the best. That's the worst case. Yeah.
Yeah. He says the reason he asked is that his update was installed in the system about 10 days ago, and suddenly the operating system has become corrupted, and it's working fine since the original install years ago. So again, whether that's coincidental. Coincidental. Yeah.
Do you know that 100% of the people that don't understand the difference between causation and correlation will die?
Whoa.
It's true.
Man. There's lies, damn lies, and statistics, right?
And that's one of them.
Jay Paul says, great show. My question is, if you still need to upgrade to 11 because of procrastination, guilty, how do we block the upgrade process from automatically installing that bad security update? Or is Microsoft
turn off Windows updates or pause them for 5 weeks or whatever until we have better information on what's going on.
If you haven't moved to 11, move to 11. Then go in, shut off updates before you check for updates and get the latest one. Yeah.
If it was me, I would move to 11. I would update everything, install every update that's available, unless you can selectively just accept that one not. Otherwise, I would go and, what am I, Yoda? I would accept that one not. I would not accept that one, if you can avoid taking it, or if you do take it, uninstall it once it comes down.
Yeah.
So then turn off updates for now.
Right.
So you don't get it back automatically. But you're doing that at the risk of if an important update comes out, you've also got updates paused, so you won't get it. Yeah. So there's some risk there. But.
So you've uninstalled the update from your machine and you've paused your updates?
Me? No, I don't care. Okay. I just image my machine all the time. So if it wipes, I don't care. I image it every night. So.
Old Boy 5001 says, my 2 terabyte drive got bricked a few days ago, presumably because of this update. Says he's reinstalled Windows 11 on a new drive, but is there any way to save the old one? It's not recognized when I attach it externally.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait for more information. If that does sound like the case where the drive gets totally bricked. And by the way, I think I might have earlier said 50 terabytes. It's 50 gigabytes that you
right.
Terabytes, which is still a lot of data.
Yeah. And another guy, Miwa, said, it just installed it, paused it for tried to install it, but they got an error. Uninstall failed. So that's, unfortunate. We don't have much help on that one.
Yeah, sorry.
Tried to uninstall it, found the update. Once it got to uninstall, it says no updates found. And I don't know what to do at this point.
No updates found. If that's at the install point, you're done.
Yeah.
If you're trying to uninstall it, it doesn't bode well. But.
Okay. Ford 1546 says, Windows 11, if you copy an icon file to a hard drive folder called test.ico, if you replace the file with another icon file, the same name, the file image icon will not be updated, but it's still the old image. You must then change file names to restart Explorer. Strange behavior. Anyone have a solution? I'm not sure what he's talking
recall
about.
The CDs, burn down the building, and fire all the employees. So that sounds like a bug where it doesn't detect the change because the file name has stayed the same. And it should be looking at some other metadata like file timestamp and stuff like that. So that sounds like a bug in the shell, unless it's some kind of intentional thing to allow you to swap out icons by the same name without refreshing the icon cache.
Okay, yeah, might be specific to the icon file type.
Yeah, it could be a bug they had to work around in an app. It could be a lot of things, but it sure sounds like when you replace it, even though the name stays the same, it should notice, but it does not.
John Cage says, thanks a lot for addressing the NVMe SSD destruction update. He says, at 7:14, he said, how do you clone your own system as a virtual machine?
That I don't know. I just know it's possible. I've never done it. I think there's not a power tool, like an SDK or DDK tool from Microsoft that will snapshot your drive to a VHDX file.
Okay.
And I wish if I could go look it up right now, I'd get you the name of the tool, but I'm pretty sure that does exist. I've just never.
Yeah, he says it's a question many people have. The surprising lack of information on the internet as far as Windows is concerned. Yeah.
Might be a good episode. Clone your own machine.
He just
Clone
said
yourself.
His next sentence is, I would love to see a detailed episode about how to do this, if it can be done at all, as copying active files from a Windows boot partition. You know, whole other
I look to like image my HP mini PC and then run it on the Storinator and see how that works.
There you go. Yeah. That might corrupt one of your backups, though, would it? If you're moving that onto your own, you've got your SSDs in a RAID situations. You're breaking all the rules, man. Yeah,
oh, man.
You're a bad man, David Plummer.
Hey, you want to see my new mini PC?
Nope. Yep. Ooh.
And if you're going to be my foil, man,
boy?
you can't say no to all my questions.
No, I know. It's just this natural, terrible instinct of mine because I know you're going to do it anyway. Oh, Geekom.
Yeah. So this
That's
is
nice.
very similar to the big AI395 PCs. But this is an AI370.
Wow.
Which is fewer cores. I think it's only 6 cores.
Yeah.
But a very tiny machine. Looks much like a Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's got all the USB on the I wish they had USB-C on the front or some Thunderbolt on the front.
Oh, right.
I'd rather have 2 and 2 and 2 and 2.
Yeah.
But they have them on the the So
how do you think how does that compare against those 128 those
it's a fair
AI
bit
ones,
slower.
yeah.
It's like a third the speed, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. And probably half the price, third the price.
Yeah, it's not a performance machine, but it's fast enough to use as a Windows desktop. So if you need like a little thing that bolts to the back of your monitor, and it comes with a VESA mount, I think, for that purpose. And then your whole PC is still self-contained in there and just works. Yeah, that's a good solution for that.
Great little thing. Yeah. Yeah. For your basic user, that'd be fantastic, eh? So this one, Amig012, says the paused updates. So when you go into this, and I just did this a few hours ago, went in, uninstalled the update, and then went into pause. So you go into the pause menu, and there's a drop down. So you can pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. I picked 5 weeks. I think then it says to restart. And so he says he paused the updates, resets, and then he says after he set it to 5 weeks, it updates, and then it comes back, and you go back to that menu, and the selection is defaulted down to 1 week, and you can't touch it.
Yeah. Or you can't touch it at that point.
No, you can't. It's grayed out. I saw them. I go, what? I just told you go to 5 weeks. I've set it, and now you've set it to 1 week. You son of a gun. I was mad. And I saw this question. Then I looked up, and if you look a little up in the top right corner of the screen, it says updates have been paused until, and I think in mine it said October 5th.
Okay, so that's not a bug per se, but it's bad user experience. What they should do is set it to what your setting was, then disable the control. Not leave it at the default, disable the control, and then put text up on the top. So
yeah. So because it confused me too, and I was sort of irritated, and then I saw the date. So yeah, he experienced the same thing. I'm sure the two of us aren't the only ones who've been sort of
it smells like a UI bug to me. So.
Yeah. Last couple of questions here we got for you. Brendan Farthing says, Dave, did you? Did you lose any subscribers unexpectedly? For some reason, YouTube had unsubscribed me from your channel. Only noticed when watching this video that I was no longer subscribed. I've subbed again.
Good. Well, thank you. I've heard people say that before. So it's always worth checking. If you think you're subscribed to us already, please double check. Are you actually subscribed? And if you're not, why? Explain yourself, please. But we would appreciate your subscription if you're not already subscribed. But if you are, verify that you still, in fact, are.
And Dave has 2 channels. There's the
That's
Dave's
true.
Garage, where you do the more in-depth and sort of detailed singular topic episodes. And then this is Dave's Attic, your second channel, where we answer questions from previous Dave's Attic episodes and Dave's Garage. So if you got questions, put a question mark in your comment, and that's the first flag that pulls out for our filter of going through and doing this pretty much regularly, although we've missed a couple of weeks here and there. We missed last week because we were away.
I'm thinking I might miss next week. I'm going to look at a car.
Ooh, okay, man. So we're on a bit of an every other week for a little bit here, but it's summertime, so yeah, we try to.
But hopefully next week. I don't want to say don't watch next week, but it might. Something might happen because I need a car. So. Got to go to Detroit.
I gotta see a man about a horse, I think is what we used to say, right?
Well, we always said see a man about a dog, but
okay, yeah.
But
Maybe in
until you
Alberta?
see your man about your dog, we appreciate you here, and we'll talk to you next time here on Shop Talk.
Yeah.
See ya.
I got one more question, man.
Oh, wait.
Yet. I'm not
You said
done
we
yet.
were done.
No. I said two more, but that's okay. You signed off. We'll ask one more question. This one,
We'll do it
might
live.
throw you for a spin here. Bob Clark says, does the modal interaction of magneto-reluctance affect the capacitive directance of the integrated RAM?
That's why you take Imodium. Yes.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
It slows things down. Everything will work fine.
Solid answer.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us out here in the shop today, here in Shop Talk. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, heck, forward it to a friend. That would help a lot. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time right here in Shop Talk. This little chair will be waiting for one of you, and a rocking chair for another who likes to rock, and a big armchair for two to curl up in. All next time on Dave's Garage.